Hello everybody, this is Backblast and welcome back to Oxygen Not Included. I'm going to show you today about how I store my natural gas because I've got two different ways of making sure that I don't run out of electricity, basically, or run out of natural gas. I've got two of these natural gas geysers, and the first thing to do when you find one of these, it'll say analyze here. So click on that, one of your scientists will come up, and once they've analysed it, it will tell you this sort of information. So next dormancy, 38 cycles. This geyser will stop in 38 cycles, and it will stop for a while. You'll get no natural gas. Your machines will stop. Oh, it'll be a disaster. Everything will power down. You'll have no oxygen in your base and all sorts. However, what I do is, when I find one of these geysers, I make a little room around it. So there's quite a bit of space around this one. I've got another one in a minute that you'll see, slightly different, but the same principles apply to both. I will have a pump at the bottom and a pump at the top. That's because when you first find your natural gas geyser, it might be in a room like this. There might be chlorine in the bottom, polluted oxygen, hydrogen, maybe even a bit of normal oxygen, but it'll all be a mix of gases, and we don't want those gases in this room really. We want it to just be natural gas. So what I do is one pump at the top, one at the bottom. The bottom one will get rid of all the chlorine, the top one will get rid of all the hydrogen. However, they go through filters, both of them, and the filters basically say all this gas that you're pumping up, if it's the lovely natural gas, send it to these two natural gas engines. If it's any rubbish, then send it out through this exhaust pipe here. In the same way, when the natural gas engines run, it has two byproducts. First one is water, which isn't much. They don't actually produce a lot of water. These have been running for about 300 cycles, so not a lot of water there. They also produce CO2, but again, I just pump it up this pipe and out into space. It just disappears for good. Eventually, over time, your gas pumps will get rid of all the other bits, all the hydrogens and the chlorines, and you'll just be left with a room that's full of natural gas. When this goes to dormant in 38 cycles, it will pump the natural gas out and you'll just be left with a vacuum. It's all fine. The other thing that's in this room is this little bit down here, and this is very important. This is what means I don't run out. So basically, I've got these two Atmos sensors here. So the Atmos sensors are in automation. They're here. And what they do is you can set them. So I've set this one to say if the active pressure in here is more than 2,000 grams, switch this pump on. Okay, it's dead easy. It works like that. It's just a simple wire down to it. Not a problem. And that's not an electrical wire. That's an automation wire. One of these wires. So what happens is when the pressure gets high in here, this pump pumps natural gas into these cylinders. Now, as it is, they're full, which is cool. It means I've got a lovely store of natural gas for when this stops. The other thing I've got here is a similar sort of thing, but instead of it being when it's above 2,000, this says when it's below 1,000. So when the pressure's decreasing in here, i.e. this has stopped and the pumps are using this gas to power the engines, when it gets low, switch this on, which is a gas shut-off. And all that does is it switches the gas supply back on and off. So these tanks down here just have a pipe coming out that goes through the shut-off and then to a high-pressure gas vent or a normal gas vent. It's a normal gas vent. So when this pressure gets low, this gas will be used back into here through this vent, and then the pumps will work and keep this going. Now, I mentioned I had two different methods. Now the other one's slightly different. So again, we've got the same gas geyser. I've got the same information. I know when it's going to start. It's currently dormant, so that's why the gas is quite low in here. It's about 1,034 grams in here, which is low. So I've got the same setup here. I've got a pump down low, a pump up high to get rid of any nasty polluted oxygens or chlorines. And I've got a pump that goes into a storage tank and again comes back out through a high pressure vent into this room based on these two. So again, above 2000 pump it out, if it's below 1000 pump it back in. The slight difference with this is the tanks that I keep it in. Now the reason I go for this is I can hold a lot more gas in here than I can hold in those 4 metal tanks over on the other side. If you look at the pressure in here, it's 11.6 kilograms. That's incredibly high pressure, and the room is fine. It's holding, there's no cracks. I don't know how high it'll go before it blows up, but 11.6, yeah, it holds a lot of gas. And it's the same system. You can see this is white now, which is detecting that the pressure is low. It's saying it's 981, and therefore this is actually switching on a pump rather than a gas shut-off valve. It's going through the pump, and that's it. And you can see it pumping back up, and the gas pressure's increasing again. So again, when it's dormant, it uses the store gas to replenish this. This will never go down. It just uses this. This goes up and down, and this stays at about 1000 to 2000 grams all the time. So I get free gas all the way, even if this is dormant. And that's it. That's how I get natural gas. I hope this has been useful. If it has, then join me for the next one, which is going to be about how I get free steel. My name's Backblast, and I'll see you next time. If you like the video, by the way, give it a thumbs up. That'd be great.